Okay, so today I'm going to do a tutorial on two different methods on cutting out objects in Photoshop and then how to change the color of them. So first we're going to start really easy with the quick selection tool. The only reason the quick selection tool is really effective here is because the background is really white and then we have a really dark object, so Photoshop's not going to have a problem differentiating between the two. So what we're going to do is on the left hand side, click our quick selection tool, and then all we're going to do is click on our object. That took about 2 seconds, works great. Now we're going to go into our layers. We're going to duplicate this layer, and then all we're going to do is click and drag it. The reason we want to duplicate that layer is just so we're always creating non-destructive layers in case we ever wanted to go back and change something. Make it a little bigger. So we can get rid of this one since we're not going to need it again, just keep everything nice and tidy. So this picture is a little busier, so with this one using the quick selection tool is probably not the most effective method. So if we zoom in on this symbol here, we can see that it's very close to the color of the floor. So what we're going to do is use the lasso tool, and all we're going to do is cut around the outside of it. So all you do is click and drag around the outside of your object. Don't worry about being perfect because we're going to go and clean it up with our brush once we get it onto the other document. So since we don't need this photo again, we're just going to create a layer from the background and add a layer mask to it. And then we're going to simply, just same as before, move this into the other document. We're going to make it bigger again, so if you click Shift while you increase the size of your object, you won't distort it, it'll stay the same. So now if we zoom in, we can see that it's not quite perfect on the outside, so all we're going to do is click on our layer mask, go to our brush, you can use B, which is a really quick way to get there, and we're going to change to a white brush by pressing X, and all we're going to do is go around the outside and clean everything up. So we want to have a fairly hard brush, and a nice small brush can help us get in there really nice and tight. So all we're going to do is go around, fill in the spots that are missing, and don't worry if you mess up here because we can always go back and clean up if we accidentally add too much of the outside. Okay, so now we're going to click X to change to the black brush, and that's how we can go back in and get rid of some of this background here. So it looks like I need a higher opacity on my brush so that I'm not leaving any trail behind. And then you can just switch back and forth between the white brush and the black brush until you're satisfied with how your object is cut out. So for the purpose of this video, that's good enough. You can also go in after and you can click on a few different options if you want to change the outside, say if you wanted to add an outer glow to it to make it look a little nicer, you could do that. You could add some textures to it if you want, but we're going to leave it as it is for the purpose of this tutorial. So now if we want to go and change the color of these objects, all we have to do is go down below and click on the hue and saturation button, and then all we're going to do is slide this around till you get the color you want. So as you can see below, they're both changing colors, so all we have to do is go down here and we just have to create a clipping mask, and then it's only going to change the color of the one that we want that's directly below the clipping mask. So let's say we want to keep this one purple. We can change the saturation, we could change the lightness of it, and we could colorize it I found this was very helpful in my second project because some of the objects were very metallic and picking up weird colors, but in this situation it's a pretty consistent color around, so we don't really need to use it. So let's leave this kind of here. Nice deep blue. So then same thing, all we're going to do now is go to layer 1, go down to the same place, and we don't have to create a clipping mask for this since it's the bottom layer, but we still can anyways because it's a good habit to get into. So let's say we make this one a nice purple. And there you go, that is how 2 different ways that you can cut out objects and 1 way that you can change the color of them.